On this week's Maximize Your Medicare Weekly, we've got the virtual event coming up in October. We've got ongoing unemployment, what you can do about it. We've got dental insurance and how it is improved through time. And last, we have pre-authorizations coming to Original Medicare. Let's get started. The first thing I got for you today is the announcement that I just posted this week. October 5th, it's a Monday, 1 p.m. Eastern time. I'm going to be having a live Medicare ABC session. Now, part of this is because of the fact that certain speaking events, right, in person, obviously COVID-19 has taken much of that away. So I'm going to bring it online, but I need to mention a few important things. First, this isn't going to be on YouTube, so you need to pre-register for it on the link in this site, right? So, I mean, you can read down on the text in this post. You can click there. You do have to pre-register. I don't control the capacity, okay? So you know that Zoom and all these technologies, and I'm not going to use Zoom, but even my technology will limit the number of attendees. And I can tell you right now, based on even just the past few days, we're going to hit the capacity almost for sure. Okay, so please sign up today. The real reason for having the session, though, about the session, is that not only am I going to explain Part A, Part B, Medicare Advantage, Part D, Medigap, but most importantly, what I'm going to be discussing are the things that aren't in the advertisements. You know, the advertisements aren't wrong. They really aren't. Because you know why? The sellers, they have restrictions on what they can say. And I know them to not be untruthful. Otherwise, those sellers would be in a huge amount of trouble, right? I mean, these sellers are federally regulated and then additionally regulated at each state. I'm pretty sure of their accuracy. You know, in fact, I don't give sales presentations in public. And the reason is that Medicare Advantage plans, you know, I represent a lot of Medicare Advantage plans, the dominant one carriers, certainly nationwide. I don't end up giving that presentation. And the reason is I don't even get to change a single word without prior authority. I don't get to change the order of any slides. We're talking about 70 slide packet over here. I'm not talking, I don't have time to go and read off 70 slides worth. I really don't. This session is information only. I'm not going to tell you a particular carrier. I'm not going to tell you a particular configuration. I'm not going to tell you a particular plan. In fact, I'm not even going to name the name of any specific company, because the point of this here is that Medicare is that situation where you're in control if you know what you are doing. If you know what you're doing, Medicare options are enormously in the buyer's favor. Enormously. Crazy people have written books about this, right? That's a fact. But what ends up happening is the advertisements don't tell you the marginal piece of information that you need to know, the critical nugget, the critical element required to make a decision. Now, I'm not there to make the decision with you, for you. That you'd have to contact me privately. But in this session, I'm going to give you a feel for what some of those boundaries are that don't show up in the advertisements. I've given this presentation 100 times, something like that, in every location around the country. Miami to Chicago to Atlanta, and to small towns, in libraries, in front of senior groups. Everyone tells me the same thing, which is that I'm going to tell them something that they did not know about Original Medicare. And even if you are already enrolled in Medicare, this is very valuable to you. The market, the world is changing. The sellers are adjusting. The amount of competition going on in Part D, Medicare Advantage plans, is incredible. And that's to the buyer's favor, again, if you understand what you're looking for. Medigap, price, premiums are continuing to be steady. And in fact, for persons newly turning 65, I can tell you that today, those premiums are lower. It just goes to show you how fierce the competition is today. So without giving you all the secrets and without going and actually delivering the presentation itself, be sure to join me Monday, October 5th, 1 p.m. Again, this is not going to be recorded and is not going to be out there on this YouTube channel even. You're going to have to pre-register. That's the place. And once I hit the capacity, sorry, I'm going to have to close the gate. The fallout from COVID-19 continues. And today, which is the very last week of July, we're going to see the end of the $600 a week stimulus package, which people have used for relief, which sat on top of the state's unemployment insurance benefit. So now we're going to have Congress scrambling. And nevertheless, we've seen every Thursday morning, we've seen a new headline to say over 1 million new jobless claims for first-time jobless claims. What is that telling you? That means those persons are newly filing for unemployment. Let's just make yourself clear here on what this means, because this does mean that people are losing their health insurance. Okay, there are persons in addition who have been furloughed. And with the result of ongoing unemployment or ongoing closing of businesses, those persons are going from furloughed status to permanently unemployed, and in some cases losing their health insurance benefits. So remember, number one, under the Affordable Care Act, you have the unrestricted right to apply for health insurance and be accepted. Number two, if you have a large employer, 20 full-time employees or more, then you are able to, or you are entitled to COBRA, which is continuation of benefits. Now, you're going to want to be careful here, because comparing these two is not easy. Number one, on the Affordable Care Act, can you get the subsidy, which is called APTC? The answer is yes, but you need to be very careful in calculating what your total income will be, because it needs to include your unemployment benefits, including the extra $600 a week that I just mentioned. If you've understated what your income is, then you may be getting too high a subsidy. Your APTC could be too high, in which case you would end up having to pay it back when you file your taxes for 2020. The flip side to that is COBRA is also complicated, because COBRA, what happens is you are given the entire sticker price before your employer contribution. So let's say your health insurance policy costs $600, but you were charged $150. Well, under COBRA, you'd be at least $600 and up to a 2% service charge. So the reality is we help people on this every day. In fact, this morning, Jeremy from Nevada said, "This is my situation. My benefits are going to run out on Friday. What can I do?" In his particular situation, we went through the numbers. There's no shortcut to going through the numbers. And depending on where the health situation is, then he can then select. It's not regulations that are going to restrict you, okay? The Affordable Care Act has this built in your favor. Again, similar to Medicare, the reality is in this particular instance, the Affordable Care Act, these consumer rights are built in your favor. but you do need to know what you are doing. If you have questions, you can send me your email, put them in the comments below. I'll be back to you on that very, very shortly. Very, very frequently, people ask me during the time that they are either retiring from their job or they're trying to go onto Medicare because they were retired and they become Medicare eligible. A very frequently asked question is, what am I going to do about dental? So let's just take a quick look here, and I'm going to run through it for you. And Humana here showing up on the screen, and you can see this is a copy of a screen on my website at GH2 Benefits. That's me in the upper right-hand corner. And I represent multiple plans. So this is just a prototype. It's not because I'm saying anything good or bad about Humana. It just gives you a feel for what dental looks like under Medicare. So what happens here is I put in this person's zip code there in Chicago, October of 1955, turning 65. Select a plan. Fairly simple and straightforward here. And what you'll see here are, then you're going to enter into the jungle. So everyone is now looking at price, of course, $47.99 for this particular, and you'll see a bunch of language here, PPO, $50, $150 for deductible, etc. Okay, let's just blow up the size of this screen here for your viewing. There you go. Now, and then you can see a number of different other plans at different price points. You can see all the way down to $8 a month, $14 a month. Preventative value. So you can see a wide number of selections here. So first, the very good thing. Certainly the competitiveness of the dental market and improvements to dental insurance have certainly occurred over the last couple of years. 5 years ago, I would never have said I would have described dental as just a mess. Because basically what happened is that the dentists don't sign up to networks, and networks are important for insurance. So as a result, you enroll in some dental plan, but you go to the dentist and they don't take it. So then you've paid for the dental insurance, and then you also pay for your dentist. So, for a number of different reasons, and competitiveness alone, right, would have done this. And certainly we've seen this. And now all of a sudden there are 5 plans at different price points. But I want to show you the other improvement here. The other improvement here is just right here, PPO. In other words, part of what has solved this is the fact that this is now that PPO is now more widely available. Okay, so PPO, remember, that means there can be in-network and out-network. That's true here in dental. If you use an in-network provider, you get a better price, no question. Okay. However, now with PPO, you can still go to another dentist even if not in-network. And this is an important thing, right? Because this solves kind of your situation of paying for dental insurance and then going to a dentist and saying, okay, I don't take it at all. Those would have been HMOs, for example. That would have been possible. You can see now at least the world has included the idea of PPO. And that is a very good thing because of the fact that, your insurance at least will be accepted. That doesn't mean that everything is that simple. Okay, and here you can see this example here. Waiting period. And so now you get into the finer details of what's actually inside of dental insurance. And here is one, which is waiting period, 6-month waiting period on basic services, 12-month wait on major services. So you can see you don't get your benefits until after 6 months, even under a plan that costs $48 a month. So you can get your cleanings, but you don't get to have them basic services and major services. And I'm not going to go through, the definition. The different carriers will may slightly define what basic and major or minor and major be from carrier to carrier. So you're going to want to look out. Stuff here, because you go through all these plans, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And there's a slew of different plans. And I've told you that dental has improved. And the reason it's improved is due to the fact that instead of just super fragmented networks, the fact that PPOs exist has now made things notably better. Nevertheless, you've still got this moving jargon, waiting period, deductible, minor services, major services, out-of-pocket maximum or maximum benefit amount. And here ultimately then is your choices. And you can see here this graph. So 0 means that you have no insurance, meaning you get no benefit. It doesn't cost you anything. You also don't get anything. Premium here on blue, green, and red lines are 3 different types of plans. You can see I didn't attach a name or a price. What you're doing when you're comparing financial products, and you can now see the link, annuities, life insurance. You can go to my other videos. Please watch them, right? It's a common theme. It's a question of what is it going to cost you? The premiums. You can see it there on your left-hand side. And then what are you going to get? What are you going to get? And so you can see what I've done, and I've done it intentionally, right? The premiums are different. Everyone looks at it like that. But look what happens on the red line. The red line, number 1, you start getting benefits sooner, right? Because you don't pay, you start getting it sooner. That angle starts going up sooner. In addition to that, you can see it goes up sharper, faster. What does that mean? You get benefits, more benefits faster, both. And third is you can see that the red line goes to a higher level, which means the amount of benefits you can receive, your maximum benefit amount under the red line is higher. So you can see the basic logic here. It should be this way. That's what you would anticipate, right? You're paying more, you're getting more sooner. You can see now how complicated it is because you're trying to judge all of these moving parts to basically think through these. And then finally, whether or not the blue line, green line, or red line fit your budget. So that's it as far as the way that dental insurance goes. I will say something about Medicare Advantage and dental insurance now, which is due to the incredible amount of competition in Medicare Advantage, among Medicare Advantage plans. Many have included dental benefits, many, right from the base policy. In addition to that, there can be additional dental benefits that you can buy for a separate price, enhanced benefits. And these can have multiple tiers. So there's no shortcut to it, but it is worth consideration. I'll give you a couple of hints. Number 1, the premium for the enhanced benefits is going to be slightly lower than the private market. Number 2, there's no waiting period. And that is vital, right? Because you can remember when I looked at that other screen, in the private market, I buy dental insurance for myself. I have a waiting period, okay? But under Medicare Advantage, the enhanced dental, as well as the Medicare, the embedded light dental, I call it light dental, that may be embedded inside of your Medicare Advantage plan, that doesn't have a waiting period. Now, you can't get away from the fact of, like in this diagram, do you see this red, green, and blue line? They flatten out. And they're flattened out intentionally because they represent the fact that the maximum amount of benefits that you can receive in a calendar year is limited. So now you can understand that these payoff diagrams look different for every financial contract, which unfortunately the way our world works, and that's why I said in the video, life's a gamble. People misunderstand financial contracts, and here's why. Because people just use these diagrams and call them all insurance. Yeah, I've got another one, and I didn't even draw it here. I'm just doing it on the fly. You want to know what this one looks like? Here's one. Let's just see if I can do this right. And I'm probably getting stage fright, so I probably get it wrong. Is probably what ends up happening. Okay, here we go. So let's just take this. I'm going to draw one more, and let's just call it the purple line. All right. And here we go. And oh yeah, by the way, I'm going to type in this one thing here. You see the purple line? You see the purple line? You can see it there, right? And people try to tell me that dental insurance works like health insurance. That's not right. Under health insurance, your purple line keeps going without limit. Under any of these other three, blue, green, red, they all have a limited payout. The payout is limited. Okay? Where else does that happen? Auto insurance, homeowners insurance, extended warranty on refrigerator. They look like the blue, red, and green line. Life insurance, right? You pay a premium, you have a limited. It's the death benefits. Long-term care insurance, they're looking like the blue, green, and red lines. Health insurance is the singular one where the benefits are unlimited maximum. That explains lots of stuff to you. Just as an intuition, what does that explain to you? That explains to you why the price is so high. Because literally, if your benefits are $3 million, that's your price, period. If it's $50, it's your same price. That's your issue. You can understand then how people mishandle, misthink, they misexplain these different concepts. The payout diagrams are different. They're different. So the price is different. Of course it is. The entire construct, the entire way that people think about these products next to each other, and then they just lump them in and call them insurance. There's a reason for the channel, right? And that's your common thread, which is I'm trying to slash through, trying to, get through all the noise, all the overgeneralizations, the war stories you hear from your friends, whatever loosely, wrongly used terms get thrown out in the public. It hurts you. It hurts you because you misunderstand. And then what ends up happening is consumers, they throw away the advertisement. They throw away considering these diagrams, even though they know that the purple line, for example, may have been vital, even though they may have thought that the red line for dental insurance or vision insurance was very, very important to their everyday life or for whatever their financial plan might be. We'll move on to the last segment. Off there, like get up on the soapbox, and I'm both sympathetic to you as well as annoyed in the sense of the amount of misrepresentation, mischaracterization, misclassification of financial products generally, which is very, very harmful. And candidly, it makes my job a lot harder because now, the preconceived notion gets stuck in someone's mind. It's why I started out with, there's a video, you should go and see it, teaching financial fluency to an 11-year-old, that if I can get you off the war stories and the misconceptions, we'll be a lot better off. That's really what I should be calling the channel. If there's a good way of putting that in the channel title, let me know. I'm all ears. Anyway, up on the screen is the Maximize Your Medicare newsletter. It is the email newsletter. You can subscribe. There's a link in the text below the video. You can do that here. This is what got sent out, and you can see you've already seen it. Many of the videos here, the info session I spoke about earlier, a quick recap of the most recent videos, Part B explained, life insurance, annuities, and most recently long-term care. And funny thing here, and this is the ironic thing, you can see that the stuff that I put in the highlight, I literally didn't change the text at all here on the long-term care portion. I literally just hijacked it from the description from the annuities. And what I did here is I just said, look, I could just change all of the observations that I would have had about annuities and change it, scratch out annuities and put in long-term care. Guess what? I don't have to change a single word, not a single word, and very similar to what I said at the end of the last segment. Last thing here, the point of here is the updates. Okay, so this is actually a fairly important development. We don't know the full ripple effect as yet. But what has been introduced to begin in 2021 is the notion of pre-authorizations for original Medicare. Now, there's a limited list. There's only 5 different outpatient services which are going to require pre-authorizations for original Medicare. And this is a new thing. For Medicare Advantage policyholders, they're used to this. They're used to this, which is that you could have been, recommended a particular surgical procedure. You would have had to have it, kind of okayed by your Medicare Advantage carrier. This is the right of the Medicare Advantage carrier. Okay, they do have this right to approve the kind of procedure. Under original Medicare, it's a little different, which is that in that instance, what has to happen is the procedure needs to be appropriate and medically necessary. But once then, Medicare Part A or Part B pays, Medigap pays the difference if you are a Medigap policyholder. If you are not a Medicare policyholder, you owe 20%, or the Part A deductibles, right, for inpatient hospitalization. However, what we see now, though, is that even under that original Medicare for Medigap carriers, Medigap policyholders, I should say, those subset of these 5 procedures is also now going to have pre-authorization. And the reason that I bring it up here is that it's not necessary, you can see on the link, you can click on it after watching the video, you can see it, that they're fairly limited procedures. What I'm wondering is whether or not this opens another can of worms where a wider set of procedures is included under which you have to have pre-authorizations. It's early. We don't know yet. That's coming in January 2021. We'll have to just wait and see.